Today's tech-savvy generation spends a colossal amount of time on the internet, and conventional learning systems do not inspire them. With an aim to make learning more interactive, fun and enjoyable, we unfold the story of a tech application that is redefining education in India. StepApp, an application launched to revolutionize the education system by providing a gamified educational platform deemed as the first of its kind in India. We caught up with Praveen Tyagi, who shared his insights on the vision and objective of StepApp as well as the journey ahead.
Well, to kick off the conversation, the Indian education system is complex and highly cluttered in some ways. So, very curious to understand what inspired you to establish StepApp, and was there a gap in the system that you were trying to bridge perhaps?
We have a massive population in our country, and that whole population has to undergo school learning mechanism.
Sure.
We do not have enough schools, we do not have enough good teachers, and we do not even provide a standardized quality of education to all the students. So rich people are getting a better quality of education, and not so rich people are not getting the same quality of education. All these issues I have faced in my personal life, starting my journey from my village. While doing farming, my father sent me to a good school. I got into IIT, came to Mumbai, started a test prep institute called PACE IIT and Medical. Started teaching kids who will pay me lakhs of rupees, and I will help them get selected in IIT and win medals in international Olympiads.
Sure.
There was nothing wrong with it, but I started feeling that I'm increasing the gap between the haves and have-nots. By serving the interests of the students who can pay me lakhs of rupees, I am making life a little more difficult for the child who's not getting that quality of education.
Right.
Whenever I used to go back to my village and see my friends who were very close friends of mine, and just because they were not given good quality education, they are still doing farming, and I become a Tyagi sir. So with that feeling, around 10-11 years back, I started working on a solution for that. My team members, I'm fortunate enough that I have a huge team of 400 IITians and doctors who are working with me in PACE while training students for competitive exams. So we all started brainstorming, and we all started thinking in that direction, and the thoughts led us to founding StepApp, Student Talent Enhancement Program, which will ensure that the child will learn in a gamified format and will be able to learn all the concepts of maths and science, which will help him in his school education and will also help him in his future competitive exams that he'll be facing.
Sure. Well, sir, as an outsider looking in, help me understand how a gamified learning platform helps reinforce basic concepts.
So when I started working on ensuring that the same quality of education should be provided to people, students across the country, the first thought was video lectures. But then I realized that it's a very passive way of learning. I mean, the child is seeing the video lecture and the teacher is trying to teach. We have been following this model for hundreds of years. So I decided that we will push ourselves a little more and make it a little more engaging, participative, fun, where the child enjoys and is participating in the process. So we decided to go for gamification of learning. The biggest catch with gamification of learning is, if you are making a child play a game, learning stops. And if you are making a child learn, then game stops.
Sure,
so gamification of learning, 1.5 years my team invested only in brainstorming how to crack this deadlock. Finally, we arrived at a conclusion that gamified format, which will make a child feel that he's playing a game. We will be analyzing a lot of components, the learning outcomes, the learning efficiency, the knowledge efficiency of a child in a very comprehensive way. That data is being captured when he's answering questions and learning and making mistakes. Everything is being archived, and that whole data is so valuable for further mentoring of the child, career guidance. Policymakers will love it because it helps them making the right policies for those children. Sure. It helps in identifying talent, and that talent needs to be nurtured properly. So we decided to go for gamification, and it is working with the students. Any school, any policymaker, anywhere we have gone, everyone has loved it. So it is just a matter of time that you will see us everywhere in the country.
Well, sir, learning abilities, of course, vary. Student capabilities vary dramatically. So that said, how does StepApp make an effort to cater to students across the entire spectrum?
Yes, every child is born with a unique ability to learn. Some people are good at learning fast. Some people take time, they are slow, but they will remember it for a longer time.
Sure.
So everyone has a different strength and everyone has a different weakness. So to personalize it and adapt it to the needs of an individual child, that's where we focus the most on. So in that gamified format, when a child is making a mistake, he is sent back to the concept where on which that question was based on.
Sure.
So he relearns that concept. So now things become easier for him to move ahead. When he starts performing and starts answering questions, and he's doing really well in that, so when he goes to the next task, the level of difficulty is increased automatically for him. So that way the app starts adapting itself to the needs and to the performance ability of the child.
Sure.
And that's why the weakest child in the class and the topmost child in the class all are loving that gamified format. And yes, it's a big highlight of our app, where the whole learning process is personalized, adaptive and fun in a gamified format.
Now, one of the leading criticisms of the education system in our country is the question of access, right? So how do you personally prioritize outreach such that StepApp reaches the most marginalized communities of our country?
So after teaching for 22 years and teaching the top brains of the country, I produced the first gold medalist in International Physics Olympiad of my student who was that. His name was Parag Agarwal and he is the CTO of Twitter at the moment. Right. My another student Yashodhan Kanoria, he was also a gold medalist for India in International Physics Olympiad. In 2003 he was ranked 2 in the main exam and rank 1 in the screening exam in the country. He has written the code of Uber. We need to value talent. We need to understand that these brains which are there in villages, the brains which are there ready to work hard for 10 hours, 12 hours a day and are very intelligent brains lying in this country, they need to be treated well, they need to be respected, they need to be nurtured, they need to be provided support, irrespective of what is their surname or what is their father's income.
Right.
We need to provide them with the best education facilities and convert them into national assets.
Sure.
This is what StepApp is all about. So this mission, when I call it, it looks like an edtech product. For me, StepApp is not a product. For me, StepApp is a process of transforming this nation. We need to make children learn in a fun way, interesting way, and identify talent. And that talent, when identified, must be nurtured into national assets. And this is my mission. And this is what StepApp is all about.
Sure. Now, sir, Amitabh Bachchan is, of course, the StepApp brand ambassador. How does his persona essentially resonate with the overarching StepApp brand message?
So when we started thinking on the lines, we should use the power of making a child earn scholarships and motivate him with the earning component. So I decided, let's go all out and make it a Kaun Banega Crorepati of school education. And then the only name that appears in front of your eyes is Shri Amitabh Bachchan.
Sure.
So in a meeting in our office, it was like a dream, wish list. And finally, it also went to the extent that Amitabh ji ended up investing also in this app. And he is a very wise man. He understands what we are doing. And that's why he has accepted to associate himself with us in such a holistic way. He was initially very cautious, understood the whole thing, questioned the whole thing, checked the credentials. He took a long time before saying yes. And finally, he accepted it, and I'm very, very excited and glad and grateful to him that he accepted to be the face of this revolution.
Well, speaking of revolutions, by way of closing comments, what role does a revolution in school education play in the larger agenda of nation building in this country?
If this country has to progress, education is going to be the backbone of that. You do not need to just keep giving subsidies to poor people. You need to gift their children good quality education, and then they will not look back to or look forward to any subsidies from you. Enable them, empower their coming generations, gift their children good quality education, and everything else will be sorted for this country. With such a massive population, if we can just bring ahead merit, if meritocracy is democratized, is rewarded, is given importance, everything else will be solved. Right now, we are somewhere, our policymakers, our country is somewhere lacking in these things. And I'm sure soon there are corrections which are on the way, and there'll be corrections which will be done. And people from private domains also will be arriving with solutions like us. Yeah. And I'm sure, so there are certain IAS officers whom I meet, and for example, the Principal Secretary School Education Tamil Nadu, Mr. Yadav, he's I think 92 batch IIT Delhi senior. I personally don't know him, but the moment he saw the app, he said to my team that we would want to make it a part of our pedagogy. He understood the appeal, he understood the whole mission behind it. And this is happening in multiple states. I do not want to mention those names till things are finalized, but I can assure you one thing, in the next 3-4 months we'll be everywhere visible, and the children will be loving to learn, and which is a very Herculean task, and we are at it.
Well, sir, thank you so much for joining us in studio, and we wish you continued success.
Thank you so much.
StepApp starts with building maths and science proficiency for grades 6 to 12, which is mapped to the CBSE and ICSE curriculum, providing an opportunity for students to not only simplify concept learning but also earn points to get scholarships.
As a student, if I'm a student, I would want that when I'm learning, that learning is in a personalized atmosphere. Also, if I'm doing mistakes, I on my own can correct those mistakes and see that improvement happening on my dashboard. That is motivating to a child. So if I'm a student, I'll be very happy that the more I relearn, it is improving, and there is and I keep working on it till the time I've reached the treasure point. Number one. Number two, uniqueness. I mean, imagine a situation where a child plays games, learns his concepts, and win rewards up to 1 crore. A class 6 student getting a 1 crore prize money from Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. And what job is he doing? The job is that he's doing his concepts properly.
When we were making StepApp, we made sure that rather than just dumping the content or definitions in the app, we must pinpoint the places where a child usually commits some error. Each concept has been broken into the smallest quanta possible. Like we have made questions even based on one line, smallest quanta possible. And also we have different levels of questions. So if a child is not able to do a certain level right, then the StepApp is able to take him to the lower level of questions. So the child is able to understand according to his or her own pace.
While making the content for StepApp, we focused that the content of the StepApp should be mapped to CBSE and ICSE board. So whatever is taught in school, it is being covered in the StepApp games as well.
So it's been around 2 months since I've been using StepApp, and the interface has been pretty amusing, in which I enjoy, as well as that I get to learn a lot of new things as well. As far as learning is concerned, I feel that the format of the game, which is like first they give slides in which we get to learn new concepts, and then we have a quiz which tests us on the learning of that concepts. I feel that is really amazing to learn about, because ultimately you even get a sense of competition while learning new concepts. So basically on a global scale, we see that technology is almost taken over the world. So I think that in these days, instead of bookish knowledge, it's more important to learn through devices like this, in which we can also use technology by learning new concepts.
A team of over 400 experts are constantly working on the concept delivery in a unique gamified manner to bring a permanent change in the education system in India.
The biggest point, the strength of this app is a team of 400 IITians. I'm a part of that IITians team who have worked on it. And we believed and we were very clear that if a student is made to learn his concepts clearly, he understands his concepts very well in all the 3 or the 4 subjects, then whether it is school exams or whether it is any competitive exam, is going to really, really help them. So this curriculum has been designed, STEP curriculum has been designed keeping in mind that a child who wants to do his school learning as well as his competitive learning will be taken care completely. It takes care of both these needs of a child.
Recently, we launched StepApp to our target audience and they have loved it. We were #1 trending app on App Store and Play Store within a week of the launch. We reached 1 million downloads within the 25 days of the launch. All this shows that StepApp has a huge potential and demand in the market, and we are just filling in the vacuum. So we are reaching out to audience in Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities via different mediums such as Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and etc. StepApp is a global product which has a huge potential, not just in India but in global markets as well. We have recently collaborated with an Australian company which will reach out to potential audience in Australia as well as Indonesia. Also, we are in talks with potential partners in US and Middle East to take our mission ahead. If I talk about India, in India we are reaching out to many schools and governments to take our mission ahead.
We have a big team of 400 plus IITians and designers and animators. So we constantly work on improvising the UI, UX and content of the app. The animations are not really long videos, but they focus particularly on explaining each concept in detail, which goes well for the students.
StepApp, with the vision to provide quality education to every child in the country, roped in Amitabh Bachchan as their brand ambassador.
StepApp is a mass product, so we wanted to have a brand ambassador who is having a mass figure. So we had only one name in our mind, which is Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. When we showed him our product, he readily agreed to participate because he believes in our vision. Mr. Bachchan is not only one of the Bollywood legend but also deeply trusted among the audience. His credibility and trustworthiness aligns with our vision and our brand.
Being StepApp, we keep on innovating on the technology front. There are various areas like data protection, because the data is related to students. This data is very, very important for us for decision making about how the kids are performing, how we can introduce new features for the kid, how we can introduce new features for parents. So we keep on innovating on adding new features and new data safety related to our infrastructure. Our entire data is hosted on the cloud. That's how we make sure that the data is safe and it is protected. We keep following various aspects related to the new technology which is coming into gamified platforms.
The main purpose of this education is it's not the teacher which is giving you knowledge, it's also the parents these days. So teachers and parents are holding hands, from both the sides. StepApp basically allows you to communicate with the parent immediately. With the progress report that StepApp's gamified learning generates, it goes simultaneously to the parent, and even the parent is aware now, okay, the child is lacking at this point.
As the learning I said in a fun way, and it also is in line with the curriculum in the school, even in ICSE as well as the CBSE curriculum. So that is, in a way, it gives quite clarity to her in all the key concepts, and also it gives a platform to compete her with her other schoolmates. So that gives a lot of confidence. And as a parent, I too come to know about her progress through the automated emails and SMSs which are sent by the app, which in a way is a very helpful thing for us.
We have approached school chains directly. We have approached state governments directly, and they're very happy to make StepApp as part of their learning pedagogy. So they will implement this in toto with their schools because it's completely mapped. So it makes a perfect solution. We are thinking of bringing in artificial intelligence courses for the CBSE, because now artificial intelligence is going to be part of the CBSE curriculum. We will focus on those subjects where this gamified approach and this conceptual approach is going to make a difference in a student's life and his career.
The application is accessible, affordable, adaptive, and attractive for those who want to build a bright future for their children.